Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jana Vallabha Vivarta Gopi Jana Vallabha Vivarta Gopi Jana Vallabha Vivarta Gopi Jana Vallabha Vivarta Jashodananda Braja Jana Rangana Jashodananda Braja Jana Rangana Jashodananda Braja Rangana Jashodananda Braja Jana Rangana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva the author. Srinvadam Sakatha Krishnaha
Srinvata Swakata Krishna
Punya Shravana Kirtanaha
Punya Savana Kirtanaha
Hridyantastha Bhadrani Vidhunati Suritsatam.
Dunati Suritatam.
Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki.
By regular attendance in class on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So we'll continue our study from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in Canto 1 entitled Creation, Chapter 16 titled How Parikshit Received the Age of Kali, and we are on text number 35. So since it's not on the board, I will just recite it once and we'll go through the rest. Kava sahena viraham purushottamasya Prema valoka ruchira smita valgu jalpai Sairam samavam aharam madhumani manininam Romostavo mamayat angri vitam kitaya. So please repeat after me for the word by your translation. Ka, who, va, either, sahena, can tolerate, viraham, separation, Purusha Uttamasya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prema, loving, Avaloka, glancing, Ruchira Smita, pleasing smile, Valgu Jalpaye, hearty apples, Saryam, gravity, Samanam, along with passionate wrath, Aharat, conquered, Madhu, sweetheart.
Sweet. I don't speak English.
What would be in American English? Sweetheart.
What's the word?
Sweetheart, like a sweetheart, like darling, loving person.
A sweetheart.
Okay. Manininam, women such as Satyabhama. Roma Utsavaha, hair standing on end out of pleasure. Mama, mine. Yet, those. Angry, feet. Vitan kitaha, imprinted with. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Translation, please repeat after me. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts, like Satyabhama, by his sweet smile
by a sweet smile
of love,
of love,
pleasing glance,
pleasing glance,
and hearty appeals,
and hearty appeals.
When he
When he
traversed my,
traversed my
that is Bhumi speaking, surface,
traversed my surface,
I would be immersed
I would be immersed
in the dust
in the dust
of his lotus feet,
of his lotus feet,
and thus
and thus
would be sumptuously
would be sumptuously
covered
covered
with grass,
with grass,
which appeared like hairs,
which appeared like hairs,
standing
standing
on me
on me
out of pleasure.
out of pleasure.
Okay, perfect. There are chances of separation between the Lord and his thousands of queens because of the Lord's being absent from home. But as far as his connection with earth was concerned, the Lord would traverse the earth with his lotus feet. And therefore, there was no chance of separation. When the Lord left the surface of earth to return to his spiritual abode, the earth's feeling of separation were therefore more acute. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Srishtam Manopi Satchikutra Sarupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Purapuri Madhavim Dhrashtavati Radhakundam Vivarta Ahuladika Madhavasam Prapta Yasya Pratita Kipaya Sindhutam Namaste. I bow down to the beautiful lotus feet of my spiritual master, by whose causeless mercy I have obtained the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the service of the son of Sachi Mata, the association of Srila Sarup Damodar, Rupa Goswami, and his older brother, Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the blissful abode of Vrindavan, the divine Radha Kunda and Govardhan Hill, and the desire within my heart for the loving service of Sri Radhika and Madhava in Vrindavan. So, this is a very short purport, and I'll read the translation one more time. Who therefore can tolerate the pangs of separation from the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He could conquer the gravity and passionate wrath of his sweethearts like Satyabhama by his sweet smile of love, pleasing glance and hearty appeals. When he traversed my earth's surface, I would be immersed in the dust of the lotus feet, and thus would be sumptuously covered with grass, which appeared like hair standing on me out of pleasure. So Bhumi is, I think this is the last part or text where Bhumi is answering the question posed by Dharmaraj or Yamraj. And Bhumi is saying this: it's obvious that who can tolerate the pangs of separation from Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Bhumi or earth has a special situation. So when Krishna was on this earth planet, he was walking on the earth planet. And then I think maybe a couple of verses before we talked about, Lord Krishna, he has specific marks in his feet. So those marks were getting imprinted on Bhumi. And Bhumi was getting some ecstasy, and she says that like the grass on Bhumi appeared like the hair standing on me out of pleasure. So it's one of the 8 ecstatic symptoms where the hair stand, it's one of the symptoms of Bhumi was having that symptom. And then when Lord was actually for example, when Lord was in Vrindavan, Radha and other gopis, they were having Lord's association. But when he left Vrindavan for Mathura, they were distressed because there was separation. And then when Lord also was in Dwarka, he had 16,108 wives. But then Lord was not staying in Dwarka all the time. Sometimes he went to Indraprastha or Hastinapur, and in Kurukshetra for war. So that time, the queens were at Dwarka, and they were also going through this separation. They were going through these pangs of separation, as the translation says. So, but the earth, the situation was special because the time that Lord was on this earth planet, the earth, the Bhumi was getting association of Lord Krishna all the time. The earth situation was not like his queens or the Sakhis or Radharani. So, and in the translation says his sweets like Satyabhama. So with Satyabhama, Lord has a special chemistry, special relationship. So Satyabhama once Narad Muni, in Srimad Bhagavatam or 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna book, we see the story that once Narad Muni gifted one Parijata flower to Rukmini Devi. Now this Parijata flower is a special flower which only was present in the heavenly kingdom of Indra. And then Satyabhama felt jealous because, they're co-wives, so it's very normal to feel like that, natural. So Satyabhama wanted the Parijata flower. And Krishna said that, okay, I will get you, one day I will get you the whole tree, don't worry about it. So Krishna pacified. And later, Krishna and Satyabhama went to a heavenly planet to, I think, return some jewelry of Aditi, some other story, but I will not get into that. So when they returned that, and then when Krishna and Satyabhama was coming back, Satyabhama saw a Parijata tree, and she wanted that. And then eventually Krishna had to fight with, and Indra won't give it away. And Krishna had to fight with Indra. And this all happened after Indra understood that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These are all later pastimes, Krishna, this, we know the pastime that Indra actually was showering torrents of rain because Nanda Maharaj was not worshipping Indra, and he worshipped, instead he worshipped the Govardhan hill as suggested by Krishna. And then after that Govardhan hill pastime, Indra understood that Krishna is the Supreme. But still, he is a king in heaven and someone is taking his tree, so he fought, he fought. And eventually, of course, Krishna won, and they brought this Parijata tree back in Dwarka. And in Dwarka, Satyabhama, so in Dwarka, all these 16,108 queens, they have their separate palaces. And of course, Satyabhama brought it, so Satyabhama put that tree in front of her palace, and instead of other queen's palace, just her palace in front of her. And then this flower has a special fragrance, so Satyabhama's palace was always filled with that special fragrance, very special. So who is Satyabhama in Chaitanya Leela? Anyone knows that?
Jagadananda Pandit.
Thank you. Yeah, Jagadananda Pandit. And Jagadananda Pandit has some special pastime. I'd like to talk about that, since the purport is very short and I was thinking what I'm going to say. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Antarila 12th chapter is the story of Jagadananda Pandit and his interaction with Mahaprabhu. Some special pastimes there. I will read the translations and then I will also discuss them. So it's starting from Chaitanya Charitamrita Anta, chapter 12, text 100, and then until the end of this chapter. So whenever Jagadananda Pandit went to visit a devotee's house, the devotee immediately forgot himself in a great happiness. So this is the incident where Jagadananda Pandit was sent by Mahaprabhu to Bengal, and he sent Jagadananda Pandit with Jagannath Prasadam, from Puri and some clothes of Jagannath as prasadam. And he stayed with Mother Sachi, and he also visited different devotees' places, and they would basically ask Jagadananda Pandit about whereabouts of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu would answer, and Jagadananda Pandit would tell different pastimes of Mahaprabhu happening in Jagannath Puri. So this is where the story is beginning here. All glories to Jagadananda Pandit. He is so favored by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that anyone who meets him thinks, now I have gotten the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. Because Jagadananda Pandit was telling the pastimes and stories of Mahaprabhu, everyone was feeling that Mahaprabhu is in their association. Like we know that Lord's Nam Rup Gun Lila, his name, form, qualities and pastimes are non-different. So similarly, when he's describing the pastimes, everyone is feeling as if Mahaprabhu is himself present in that place. All glories to Jagadananda Pandit. He was so favored by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that anyone who meets him thinks, now I have gotten the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. Jagadananda Pandit stayed at the house of Shivananda Sen for some time, and they prepared about 16 sets of scented sandalwood oil. Now, share is an old measuring system of weight, basically. So before the introduction of kilogram in India, it was measured in share, and one share is little more than 1 kg, 1 kilogram.
How do you spell it?
SEER, share. Yeah. And then in old time, in the British period, until the Indian government adopted the kg or kilogram international system, the share was used, and then 40 shares means 1 man. That's how the rice and other things have been calculated. Maybe still in the villages they do it.
How long has it been with kilos?
It's years after the independence, but it took some time for the... When I was in school, they still taught us the conversion between share and kg. Although government of always... thank you, Prema. So one set is more than 1 kg, so approximately one set is about 3 pounds, So 1 kg is 2.2 pounds. So then they prepared about 16 shares, means about 48 pounds of sandalwood oil.
Wow.
So those who deal with the essential oil, they know that how much quantity of this material you need to make the essential oil. So once I was talking with Divuja Prabhu, and I was talking, why don't you make some rose essential oil for the Lord? And he said, well, if we had to get 1 ounce of rose oil, we were standing actually in the pavilion, we were on the line to get prasadam. And he said, if the whole pavilion we fill with rose petal, that will produce just 1 ounce of rose oil. So rose is one of those that needs a lot, but sandalwood is probably not that bad. And usually when Divuja Prabhu makes his mountain mint, which produces the most oil, he says, it only produces a couple of ounces when he fills his whole big, I think, 30-gallon pot, So and that's the best he gets, whatever he makes. So you can see the essential oil takes a lot of. So 16 sets or about 48 pounds of sandalwood oil is, they're working a lot. And he was staying in the house of Shivananda Sen, and they were preparing that. Now, we all know that Shivananda Sen, he's a special devotee. He used to pay all the fees and everything he was paying everything for the devotees from Bengal to come to Jagannath Puri. So he was paying for their taxes, he was paying for the lodging, for prasadam, everything. And Jagadananda Pandit actually, in his book Prema Vivarta, which I brought, I want to say some pastime from that book also. It's one of my favorite books actually. So Jagadananda Pandit, in that book, he says that when he was in childhood, when he was child, he was staying in Shivananda Sen's house, and Shivananda Sen taught him Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And also at Shivananda Sen's house, he learned how to cook, and he became a good cook. So, and then Shivananda Sen is also the person who actually brought him to Navadvip and introduced it to Mahaprabhu. So Shivananda Sen is a special relation with Jagadananda Pandit. And Shivananda Sen, so Jagadananda Pandit went back to Shivananda Sen's house and prepared this sandalwood oil. They filled a large earthen pot with this aromatic oil, and with great care Jagadananda Pandit brought it to Nilachal Jagannath Puri. So he brings this oil to Puri. This oil was placed in the care of Govinda, and Jagadananda requested him, please rub this oil on the body of the Lord. So Govinda was personal servant of Mahaprabhu, and Govinda is also actually god brother of Mahaprabhu. He was also disciple of Ishwar Puri. And when Ishwar Puri sent Govinda for him to serve Mahaprabhu, he did not accept him in the beginning. He said, no, I can, because you are my god brother, it's improper to take service from you. But then, since it was order of his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, so he accepted Govinda as his personal servant. So usually Govinda, one of his service was to massage Mahaprabhu's body when he's taking rest. So Jagadananda Pandit comes and he says, okay, when you massage Mahaprabhu, you massage Mahaprabhu anyway, so please rub this sandalwood oil on the body of the Lord. Just do it, when you do it. So he gave the thing right to the right person. So Govinda therefore told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jagadananda Pandit has brought some scented sandalwood oil, and it is his desire that your Lordship apply a little of this oil on your head, so that blood pressure due to bile and air will be considerably diminished. So Jagadananda actually requested, and then Jagadananda requested Govinda, and Govinda is telling all this to Mahaprabhu. He prepared a large jug of it in Bengal, and with great care he brought it there. So in those days, people walked, they did not. And Jagadananda Pandit, he used an earthen pot. So with great care he must have brought it, because if the pot falls on some hard surface, it will break, and all that hard effort will get wasted. So Govinda is also mentioning that is he put a lot of effort, so you should accept it. The Lord replied, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, a sannyasi has no use for oil, especially perfume oil such as this. Take it out immediately, And so we use perfume oil on Lord Chaitanya here, right? Do we use it? So is it proper to use that? Anything? So Lord here he's not a sannyasi. He's in pre-sannyasi. He's Gaur-Nitai. So it's proper, He hasn't taken sannyas yet. The form that we worship here, so it's proper. You can use perfume oil. Deliver this oil to the temple of Jagannath. So he's saying to Govinda that deliver this oil to the temple of Jagannath, where it may be burned in the lamps. So in Jagannath Puri they burn lamps. They still don't use electricity inside the temple. They usually does ghee lamps. In this way, Jagadananda's labor in manufacturing the oil will be perfectly successful. So when Govinda informed Jagadananda Pandit of his message, Jagadananda remained silent, not saying even a word. So Jagadananda didn't even say anything, when Govinda told that, okay, Mahaprabhu said that, he won't take it. He said, okay, give it to Jagannath Puri. And Jagadananda Pandit did not say anything. So when someone doesn't say anything, it could mean he accepts it or he might not accept it. We don't know what's going on in the mind. So Jagadananda Pandit did not say anything. So when 10 days after 10 days, Govinda again told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is the desire of Jagadananda Pandit that your Lordship accept this oil. So after 10 days, Govinda tries again, one more time. When the Lord heard this, he angrily said, so now this time Lord became very angry. He said, why not keep a masseur to massage me? M-A-S-S-E-U-R. Masseur. Is it French?
Someone that gives massage.
Is it a French word or something?
Maybe.
So Mahaprabhu is saying that have I taken sannyas for such happiness? Accepting this oil would bring my ruination, and all of you would laugh. If someone passing on the road smelled this oil on my head, he would think I am a Dari sannyasi, a tantric sannyasi who keeps women. Now, Dari here does not mean Dari is also the language, the Persian dialect they speak in Afghanistan. After this 9/11 Dari, if you knew Dari, US government will immediately hire you for, so that you can translate. But this is not that Dari. So this Dari sannyasi, also the spelling is exactly the same. So Dari sannyasi is a tantric sannyasi who basically does tantra sadhana to get some mystic opulence and usually accompanied by women.
So you were saying Persian?
Dari. Yeah, Dari is also the name of a Persian dialect which is spoken in Afghanistan. Yeah. So it's Pashtun and Dari, those two languages who could know during that time were in high demand. They will pay you a lot of money if you knew those languages. So hearing these words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda remained silent. The next morning, Jagadananda went to see the Lord. And now the trouble will be here. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Jagadananda Pandit, my dear Pandit, you have brought me some oil from Bengal, but since I am in the renounced order, I cannot accept it. Deliver the oil to the temple of Jagannath so that it may be burned in the lamps. Thus your labor in preparing the oil will be fruitful. Jagadananda Pandit replied, who tells you all these false stories? I never brought any oil from Bengal. He's really mad, real mad. Jagadananda Pandit replied, who tells you all these false stories? I never brought any oil from Bengal. And after saying this, Jagadananda Pandit took the jug of oil from the room and threw it down before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the courtyard and broke it. He broke it himself. Then the picture is, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the picture. That he is. Yeah, it's a picture. So he broke it. So after breaking the jug, Jagadananda Pandit returned to his residence, bolted the door and lay down. So he just closed his door and he's also not eating anything. He's fasting because he's so mad. 3 days later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the door of his room and said, my dear Jagadananda Pandit, please get up. I want you to personally cook my lunch today. I am going now to see the Lord in the temple. I shall return at noon. So 3 days passed and Mahaprabhu did not see Jagadananda Pandit. So he became worried about Jagadananda. And he probably came to know that Jagadananda Pandit is not eating anything, so he went to his house and said, and this is Mahaprabhu's way of, breaking Jagadananda's anger. He's saying, oh please, cook something for me. And I want you to personally cook my lunch today. I am now going to see the Lord at the temple. And after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this and left, Jagadananda Pandit got up from his bed, bathed and began to cook varieties of vegetables. After finishing his noontime ritualistic duties, the Lord arrived for lunch. Jagadananda Pandit washed the Lord's feet and gave the Lord a sitting place. He had cooked fine rice mixed with ghee and piled it high on a banana leaf. There were also varieties of vegetables placed all around in pots made of banana tree bark. On the rice and vegetables were tulasi flowers, and in front of the Lord were cakes, sweet rice and other prasadam of Jagannath. So Jagadananda Pandit cooked some rice and vegetables, and also he brought some Jagannath prasadam for Lord Chaitanya. The Lord said, spread another leaf with a helping of rice and vegetables, so that today you and I may take lunch together. So usually the thing was that Mahaprabhu usually would accept the prasadam first, and then the devotees would take his remnants and take some more prasadam. But Lord Chaitanya is concerned about Jagadananda, so he said, he thought maybe he will not eat after I leave. So he said, okay, why don't you eat with me today? You make another plate and we'll eat together. We'll take lunch together. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept his hands raised and would not accept prasadam until Jagadananda Pandit, with great affection and love, spoke the following words. So Mahaprabhu did not put his hand on the rice, he just was like this. So Jagadananda Pandit said, please first take prasadam yourself, and I shall eat later. I shall not refuse your request. In great happiness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then accepted the lunch. When he had tasted the vegetables, he again began to speak. So Mahaprabhu is speaking. Even when you cook in angry mood, he said, the food is very delicious. Even when you cook in angry mood, the food is very delicious. This shows how pleased Krishna is with you. Because he will personally eat the food Krishna makes you cook so nicely. You offer such nectarian rice to Krishna, who can estimate the limit of your fortune? So Jagadananda Pandit replied, he who will eat has cooked this. As far as I am concerned, I simply collect the ingredients. So Jagadananda Pandit is very humble, he said, he who will eat has cooked this. And I am just simply collecting the ingredients. And Jagadananda Pandit continued to offer the Lord varieties of vegetables. Out of fear, the Lord said nothing but continued eating happily. So Lord is eating, Jagadananda is giving. Lord is eating, Jagadananda is giving. And then actually Mahaprabhu ate way more than he usually does. So usually on a Sunday feast, or if we have a feast, all kinds of delicacies are there. So we usually eat more, right? Usually, we may eat twice or thrice that are normal. But anyone knows how much Mahaprabhu ate this time? Out of fear? 10 times. So he ate 10 times than his usual diet, So we know that when Ramachandra Puri, he was very critical of Mahaprabhu. He came in Jagannath Puri, and because of his criticism, Mahaprabhu was eating less, But when a devotee feeds him, he eats more. So Jagadananda Pandit eagerly forced the Lord to eat so much that he ate 10 times more than on other days. Again and again, when Lord wished to get up, Jagadananda Pandit would feed him more vegetables. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dared not forbid him to feed him more. He just continued eating, fearful that Jagadananda would fast if he stopped. At last the Lord respectfully submitted, my dear Jagadananda, you have already made me eat 10 times more than I am used to. Now please stop. And and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he stood up and washed his hands and mouth. Without waiting for Jagadananda's response, he just washed it and washed his feet and mouth. And Jagadananda Pandit brought spices, mukshatis, elaichis and stuff like that, and a garland and some sandalwood pulp. So, sandalwood pulp is very, when it's put on the head area, it's very cool, so that Lord can have a nice sleep or nap after eating. So he brought those and garland. also. Accepting the sandalwood pulp and garland, the Lord sat down and said, "Now in front of me you must eat." So I said, okay. So Lord is thinking, okay, you made me eat. Now in front of me you must eat. Lord wants to make sure that he eats, So Jagadananda replied, "My Lord, you go and take rest. I shall take prasadam after I finish making some arrangements." So Ramai Pandit and Raghunath Bhatta did the cooking, and I want to give them some rice and vegetables. So Jagadananda was cooking, but then Ramai and Raghunath Bhatta assisted him in cooking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Govinda, "You remain here. When the Pandita has taken his food, come and inform me." So Mahaprabhu is not sure if Jagadananda Pandit will take prasadam. So he said to his servant Govinda that you stay here and check whether Jagadananda actually takes prasadam or not, and you come later and inform me. And after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said this and left, Jagadananda spoke to Govinda. Now Jagadananda Pandit is instructing Govinda. He is saying, "Go quickly and massage Lord's feet. You may tell him the Pandita has just sat down and take his meal." So this is a situation when you have more than one boss, So one boss says that, okay, so Mahaprabhu said to Govinda that you stay and check on Jagadananda Pandit, and Jagadananda Pandit is saying, okay, you go massage Lord's feet and tell him that I already ate, So that's going on. So Govinda is thinking, what I'm going to do. So and Jagadananda is trying to bribe now Govinda. He's saying, "I shall keep some remnants of the Lord for you. So don't worry, you go tell Mahaprabhu this, you do this, and I will keep some food for you. So don't worry, I will keep some prasadam of Mahaprabhu for you. When he is asleep, come and take your prasadam." Jagadananda Pandit thus distributed remnants of Lord's food to Ramai, Nandai, Govinda and Raghunath Bhatta. So Ramai and Nandai, actually in I think in Adi Leela, it's described that Ramai and Nandai, they were in charge of filling the pots. Those days there were no flowing water, no tap. Now we just turn on the tap and water comes out. So they would collect water from ponds or river and bring it in the water pots. So Ramai and Nandai was in charge of filling the pots, the water pots basically, and they will go and bring. And I think one of them would, if memory serves me correctly, one of them would fill 24 pots, something like that, water pots, something like that. So basically, Jagadananda Pandit gives prasadam to them, Mahaprabhu's prasadam, Mahaprasadam. He also personally ate the remnants of food left by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then the Lord again sent Govinda. So by that time he already ate, but then Lord was not sure if Jagadananda has taken prasadam. So he sent Govinda to check on Jagadananda. And Lord told him, "Go see whether Jagadananda Pandit is eating, then quickly return and let me know." Seeing that Jagadananda Pandit was indeed eating, Govinda informed the Lord, who then became peaceful and went to sleep. So after Lord know that Jagadananda has eaten, so Lord was okay. Now everything is cool, whatever happened, all this, oil incident, and now everything is taken care, everything is cool now. The affectionate loving exchange between Jagadananda Pandit and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued in this manner. So it's not only one such incident, many things happened like that, And in Navadip also they had another incident which I'm going to tell from this book, Prema Vivarta by Jagadananda Pandit. Like exchanges these are exchanges that happened between Satyabhama and Lord Krishna, and which is related in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Jagadananda Pandit is Satyabhama. Who can estimate the limit of Jagadananda Pandit's fortune? He himself is an example of his own great fortune. And then it says, anyone who hears about the loving exchanges between Jagadananda Pandit and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or who reads Jagadananda's Prema Vivarta book, can understand what love is. Moreover, he achieves the ecstatic love of Krishna. So anyone who reads this book, he achieves ecstatic love of Krishna. So it's worth to read maybe something from this book. Right? So this book is actually, so in the beginning of this book, I think chapter 2, Sarup Damodar actually comes and asks Jagadananda Pandit that, Pandit, what you are writing? And Jagadananda Pandit is telling that, Tamal Prabhu, can you distribute the sweet?
This is from
Mangal Arati, yeah.
from Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, this is also from Lord Chaitanya.
Where did you get that book?
This I actually bought from ISKCON Mayapur, but you can get it online also. You can download PDF also.
And of course we have Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So actually, Sarup Damodar came and asked, what are you writing? So he was writing, Jagadananda Pandit was writing, and he asked, what you are writing? And then he said that, I am writing whatever comes to my mind, And Sarup Damodar says, you should write something which would be beneficial to the whole world. And Jagadananda Pandit said, I don't worry about the beneficial, what happens to the whole world. Whatever comes to my mind, when I am in loving relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I write that. So this book does not have any continuum story. It's basically an assortment of writing, you can say, different topics. So it says that there is one section called Sri Mahaprabhu and the author. So one day Lord said to me, this is very small, each of them are very small, not big. One day Lord said to me, this is Jagadananda Pandit said to me with a smile, you are certainly the most experienced queen of Dwarka, hinting that he is Satyabhama. And I am just a poor beggar. Why do you serve me? You will find hundreds of sannyasis like me. I replied to him, keep aside your deceitfulness. I am maidservant of Sri Radha. Therefore, you should not speak to me like that. You have stolen the complexion of my Sri Radha. I will take you to Braja, and I have caught you as a thief. I want the lotus feet of Sri Radha, and you try to push me away. You send me to Dwarka. What kind of behavior of yours is this? I know very well about you acting as sannyasi. You will serve Radha personally by deceiving us. And then there is one incident. The author laments remembering a childhood incident. So there was a fighting also happened. So this is not the first time, this oil pot breaking pastime. There was another pastime that Jagadananda Pandit had with Mahaprabhu. So when they were in the childhood, they used to go to the same school. So Jagadananda Pandit writes, alas, the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya are the only treasure in the path of spiritual life. Where has he disappeared now by leaving me behind? He left me and yet I am still alive. Therefore, I roll on the ground with intense grief. One day, during our childhood, we had a quarrel in the school. And as a result, we had a scuffle with hands. They were fighting with each other. Because of this, I felt so sad that I laid down on the bank of Ganges at Mayapur and cried for one full day and night. So Mahaprabhu and Jagadananda Pandit, they fought. And then Jagadananda Pandit did not even go to his house. He just was laying by the Ganga in Mayapur, and he did not eat anything. So it looks like when there is some problem, when he fights with Mahaprabhu, he does not eat. And Mahaprabhu knew from before. So being compassionate to me, my Lord came there with Gadadhar before it was dawn. So early in the morning, during Mangal Arati time, Mahaprabhu comes to Jagadananda Pandit. He called out my name, O Jagadananda, pride is very bad, therefore speak with me by giving up crookedness. By seeing the Lord's face, I gave up my pride and anger and asked him, why did you come in the dead of night? The land of Nadia is very hard. You must have suffered a lot by walking on it. You have taken so much trouble for my sake. The Lord said, let us go. The night has ended. Let us go home and eat something. Considering your distress, I did not eat anything, and I slept on the floor by giving up my own bed. So Jagadananda was sleeping by the Ganges, and Mahaprabhu also did not eat anything. He came home, but he didn't eat anything, and he didn't sleep on his bed. He was sleeping on the floor. At that time, Gadadhar came to my house, and we both set out to search after you. It is good that your anger has subsided. Now let us go home, and we will happily play again tomorrow. Holding the feet of Gadadhar, I stood up slowly because I cannot disobey Lord's order. I went to the Lord's house and ate something and drank some water before lying down there for 1 or 2 hours. So basically, and then says, then the loving exchange after the quarrel becomes just like pure gold, and it fills the heart with so much joy. The Lord says, this is why you get angry and I get angry, and thus the love between us become enhanced. So this, in childhood also pastime, they acted as Krishna and Satyabhama, fighting each other. Since we are running out of time, I will quickly service I plan to say more, but servicing the transformation of static love. Okay, maybe I will take one more pastime. Is called, so in those of you who have done the parikrama, Navadvip parikrama, there is a place called a lake called Goradaha. There is a lake, and this is, I will not read because I will try to squeeze the pastime and tell it so that we finish on time. So in Goradaha there was a crocodile living in this Goradaha, or alligator, living in this place. And then once Mahaprabhu was going there with some associates and then chanting the holy name. And there was a cowherd boy, I think named Bhima. He came and he said, oh, don't go to this place, don't go to this lake, near to the lake, because there is a crocodile there, and then the water of this lake is also poison because of this crocodile, and then no cow will drink any water from that lake because and then Mahaprabhu still goes, anyway, he goes and he's chanting, and then the crocodile, he comes out of the lake, and crocodiles are amphibians, so they can walk, they can be in the water and also in the land. So crocodile came and he touched Mahaprabhu's feet, and the crocodile became a demigod child. And so this is, and Mahaprabhu was chanting the holy name. So just by hearing the holy name and by the touch of Mahaprabhu's feet, the crocodile gets liberated. So this incident is similar to Lord Krishna. He is punishing Kaliya in Kaliyada. So this lake is named Goradaha. Gora is another name of Lord Chaitanya. And then this demigod child, he tells about how he was cursed. So once he cut the shikha or the knot of Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni cursed him that you will be a crocodile for 4 yugas, And then he said, okay, please, 4 yugas is too much. Please do something. And they said, okay, when Krishna comes as Mahaprabhu, he will deliver you. So like that he gets delivered. So we are running out of time. I will stop here. Any quick questions or comments?
We can stay longer. Do you have another stash of sweets?
Let's stop on time. It's good to stop on time. Yes, you have to.
Is that, I remember Vivarta Maharaj explaining, and you probably know where this is revealed, that Satyabhama is actually Srimati Radharani, and Rukmini is Chandravali. That somehow the Rukmini and Chandravali, who are also rivals in the Vrindavan pastime, have expanded themselves, and so they play those parts.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard that before?
No, I haven't.
I also didn't hear it, and then just maybe like 2-3 years ago, then Vivarta Maharaj was talking about it. And so it makes sense, the how the right-handed and left-handed gopis, like fiery and submissive, like that. So that's what he was.
Okay. Alright, Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, no.
Did you have something
No,
else
she.
on?
No, I said that if he has another statue suit, we can stay longer.
Next, okay, so since you said that, this book also have a chapter on Ekadashi. So next Thursday is actually Ekadashi. So if Krishna wishes, maybe I will speak on from that chapter.
I can make some.
So sweet, we exchanged it, huh?
Okay.
Very
Srila
sweet.
Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Guru, so sweet.